should be live.
Oh, the hardest game of all, social interaction.
Boo!
Did I only play 2 things? With the exception of...
I can tell you that's all I did.
Yeah, I only have 2 this week, too.
Yeah, other than the required reading, I think I only played 2
Right.
things.
Dude, I sat down and read a book for 2 fucking hours. And
That sounds
I
incredible.
busted out like 250 pages in that book. And that is
Yeah.
the first time in a long time I just sat down and read. Like, my wife was in here on the computer playing Sims. Daughter was on my Xbox. My son was on the phone with my on my phone with my parents because they had called. And I'm like, I got nothing to fucking do right now. I was like, well, I guess I'll just sit here and read a book. And then it was 1 a.m, and I'm like, I guess I'm going to bed.
Oh, man. That sounds great. Alrighty. Hello, Internet.
Where's my fucking... Oh, my bones ache, dude. It's getting cold. Snow
Do you guys
is
have
about
snow
to
over
hit.
there? I was gonna say, we've had
No.
snow since Wednesday, and it's actually staying.
No, we haven't got it so far. We got like a fine little fucking sprinkle of it on Friday.
Okay.
Like just like a couple of flakes in the air, but nothing serious. But the temperature is tanking bad, and it's just like, oh hey, I walk outside and I get frostbite by the time I put the garbage in the bin.
Yeah,
Yikes.
we don't have enough snow to actually shovel or anything. I mean, you can if you want to, but we are supposed to get snow for the rest of this week as well. I don't know how much, but it's nice. Everything's just white. It's like, cool. We haven't
Nice.
had that in years because it's usually been, oh yeah, it's gonna snow, but then it's been too warm, so it doesn't stick around.
Hmm.
And then Christmas just looks like dog shit.
Happy holidays.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, are you guys ready to get started? Oh, I should probably share show notes with you guys. That would probably help. Send.
If you want.
Maybe you don't have to, but I mean,
But I should.
if we're going to talk about Shuhei Yoshida, then I kind
know
of would
what?
like to know how to pronounce the guy's name.
We can all just be surprised at news.
That's right.
Yeah,
That's right.
Shuhei Yoshida signs a deal with Microsoft.
That's right. The source you
And-
can trust, us.
Yeah. And they buy FromSoft, and
That's right. And McDonald's is a surprising, investment. Yeah.
I mean,
Well,
Microsoft
so-
already has a military contract. What's a fast food military contract, really?
It's true.
True.
Take care of all of it.
I will admit, like, thanks to Boston, I've been listening to Next Thunder.
Oh, nice.
Uh-huh.
And I'm like a year behind on it.
Okay.
And listening to the rise and fall and fall and fall of the Embracer group is just like, everybody had so many fucking issues with the Microsoft merger, but no one said shit about
Yeah.
Embracer.
I said shit about Embracer.
I'm at the
Oh,
point
we did.
where Concord just failed. Like, they were talked about the previous week of like, we're playing now. Concord's live. We're playing Concord. It's fine. It's
I just did
all
that
right.
with Remap.
Yeah, and the episode I'm on right now is like, they killed Concord. It's like, yeah, man.
Mm-hmm.
2024,
It's
huh?
funny because with Remap, Patrick was like, yeah, they'll probably like, I mean, they've kind of got to go all in. They've got to support this. So, we'll see how it's doing in 6 months, I guess. And then the very next episode is like, nope,
Well, never mind.
it's done. Which it harkened back to the days of I think it was the Beast cast, maybe, or maybe it was the Bombcast, when Patrick made a prediction about Xbox,
Mhm.
and then Vinny just edited the next episode to be Patrick like saying that same thing 50,000 times across the episode.
So good. All right. You guys ready to get started?
No, but sure.
All right. Starting in 3, 2, 1. Welcome back to another episode of That Video Game Podcast, aka TVGP. I'm your host, Boston. Joining me as always is Moonpear
Hi.
and the Nymph.
I hope you all had a pleasant Thanksgiving.
Oh, Thank you.
Or at least got to ignore people you didn't want to have to deal with.
Probably more importantly, yeah.
Oh, Indigenous Peoples Day, however you celebrate it.
That's true.
Exactly.
Or don't. Whichever way you go.
Yeah. Quick plug here for patreon.com/E1M1.
Ones are the digits.
Live right now is our first ever Patreon open house. We talked about it a little bit last week. Chat about it again. We have 3 episodes out right now. If you've ever been curious about sort of what goes on in the Patreon, sort of have it turned out to kind of be the best hits of 2024. We have a episode of The Outcast. That's the uncensored exclusive episode where we're talking about everything except for video games that's going on in our lives. Kind of a bananas one that happened this year for the open house. It's where Moon is running a game show, which you just need to go listen to because we stumble upon a really silly game show that made Nimp and I very angry. It's a very good episode. We have a Critical Misses production meeting where I think we take no less than 3 or 4 left turns, which if you want to know what that production meeting is, it's those are usually largely that. It's a fly in the wall kind of planning for those shows. Sometimes we do.
And if you
Go ahead.
If you like it and you decide you want to sign up for Patreon, the $5 tier, ideally, to get the access to those, check out the most recent production meeting where, shock of shocks, we took a left turn.
Yes. Yeah. That's up there, and then we have a episode of The Wayward Sons, which is a supernatural TV show watchcast. Season 2, episode 15, Tall Tales, if I remember correctly. That is. Nimp and Moonpair are going through seasons of Supernatural there. They voted that as their favorite of the year. So if you want to kind of...
Definitely the weirdest.
Yeah.
Also, the shocking, again, $5 tier, go listen to the season 2 wrap-up for accidental best music stinger of the year is in that episode too.
Yeah, so that's kind of a if you've been wanting to get a sample of what we offer over there on the Patreon, and get that over there. Like Moon's been saying, $5 tier is a recommended one. That's $5 per month. That gets you everything. It gets you all of that stuff. Early access to We Rogue Like It and Critical Misses. Anything above and beyond that is over there. Also, that gets you access to the whole back catalog. So it's not like, oh, you only get the most recent 3 months for the 5. No, just everything we put. It's hundreds of episodes at this point. All of that stuff is available over there on the Patreon page, and you get everything that comes out after that. The Critical Miss is every other week. Wayward Sons is every other week. Those two kind of switch back and forth. Outcast is every week, and Production Meeting is between seasons. However many weeks that is per season. So go check that out. If you like what you hear, there's way more of it in the back catalog, and there's way more of it coming over at patreon.com/E1M1.
The ones and numbers.
Also, a quick production note here that the Community Game of the Year voting will be happening probably this week once I get the Google form done. So if you're on the Discord, discord.tvgp.tv, go check that out. I'll put that in the announcements channel there. You can vote you'll have like probably about 2 weeks to cast your vote for what your favorite game of the year is, and that will show up in our Game of the Year episode at the end of the year, which we'll have more information about that as the weeks get closer here. Now that we're in December, which is not at all frightening from a production standpoint.
Nope.
But
2025 is right around the corner, folks.
Heaven help us. But yes, so go check that out. Go join the Discord server if you're not on there. It is the best community on the internet. Everyone's cool over there. Everyone's chill. It's not a super fast server. It's all good. Okay, Moon, what have you been playing this past week?
Well, other than dropping only the finest memes into our Discord channel,
Naturally.
You should go check out the one I dropped while we were literally recording this, because it's gold. Honestly, I played a little bit of roguelike it game. We roguelike it. Check it out. Patreon gets early access. I'm just saying.
WeRoguelikeIt.com for the big list.
Yep. I played a little bit of Katamari too.
Mhm.
I'm like 2 achievements away from beating it at this point. Oh, sorry, We Heart Katamari.
Okay.
I don't know if it's officially the second one.
What it's both. What achievements do you have left?
I have to roll up the queen.
Okay. R.I.P.
And I have to get every single achievement in the game. So technically, I've only got 1 achievement left to get.
Sure.
The problem is, so there's 3 achievements that I had left. I had roll up the king, roll up the queen, and like do the wish of some person. The wish of the some person I needed was to collect all of the cousins and then do the level where you roll up all of the cousins. I have collected all the cousins and I have rolled up all the cousins now.
I forgot about that one.
To roll up the king and the queen, you have to do the elephant and bird level, which is the one where you start big and it just gets bigger the whole time.
Mm-hmm.
And you have to play it on eternal mode,
Oh.
so you have enough time to get big enough to get the king. Because when you do that level, the king is flying around and he's like pushes you around with his rainbow dragon breath thing.
Yep.
And so you have to get bigger than him to roll him up. Then once you've rolled him up, the queen will appear, so you have to do the level again. That's a 20-minute level, by the way, just in case you were curious. And then the queen appears. So I did that level again. I did not know. The queen runs away.
Oh, how fun.
And runs away and vanishes, I should say.
Oh, God. Okay.
So when you're big enough to collect her, you need to collect her as fast as you possibly can. Because I did the thing of, like, I hit her, and she went flying through the air, and then landed on the floor, and is doing the animation on the floor for being panicked and everything like that.
Mm-hmm.
And then as I was slowly lumbering towards her, because at that point the Katamari is so big and slow and cumbersome, she just got up and ran away, and I was like, ah.
Incredible.
So now I have to do that entire level all over again to roll up the queen.
Right.
Which is just fabulous. Good news is I get to roll up all of the landmarks again, I guess. So that's good. And give me the Tower Bridge. Yes, please. Give me the Tower London. Yes, please.
Yeah.
Give me all of the landmarks from around the world. And I think that one is also the level that has the main theme from We Heart Katamari, which is like
the na-na-na song.
Cool, the cool, smooth jazz kind of remix version of the Katamari soundtrack.
Yeah.
So it's fine. It's just, it's 20 minutes. So I have to, get my head down and eventually get into that. I mean, other than that, like, I put like an hour and a half into Descenders.
Oh, yeah.
Because I have a problem with Descenders. The game is stupidly fun. There's more bikes in it now, Boston. So they got like 3 different bike types.
Okay.
Like they got an all-rounder, a trick bike, and a downhill bike. So there is more variety in there. And weirdly enough, for me at least, I did somehow manage to get the achievement for completing one of the additional tours that they added in after the fact.
Oh.
My favorite part is it's retroactively completed.
Nice.
So like one of the challenges is get like 500,000 rep. It's like I'm at like 2.5 million rep, dude, because I played this game way too much.
Right.
So like as soon as I unlock the tour, it's just like, yeah, you've done that one. Good job.
That's cool.
The issue I have is those last 3 achievements are really bothering me now.
You're close enough to kind of taste it.
Yeah, the problem is my skill level is slowly improving the more I just happen to load this up because I have a problem with this game, and it's just like...
Now the possibilities increase, you're like, oh, but maybe I could do them?
Yeah, like I've slowly gotten back on my bike, and I've slowly relearned the skills that I need, and the game is like so much smoother than it ever was. It's so much, like, it runs fantastically, it still controls incredibly well, and it's just like,
and kudos to that team for continuing to work on it and improve, not only from a content perspective, but from like a performance perspective, to kind of Descenders was always great, but like we've said, had some rough edges when it
Yes.
launched.
Oh, 100%. And like, do you remember like the main park that you start in? Like when you load into the game, you're in like that little free roam world.
Yeah.
That has like 50 more things inside of it now. Like for
Oh,
example,
wow.
it has a moon jump training part where it's like, hey,
Jeez.
if you want to get the highest possible jump you can get from a ramp, just run this little section of the training park over and over and over again until you nailed on how to do it. And you know it's the moon jump section because it's got a giant moon that you have to jump onto.
For anyone that maybe hasn't played Descenders, when you start the game, you and I'm assuming anybody you're playing with, but if you're not playing with anyone, it's just kind of other people that are online in like a ghost fashion. There's kind of like a play area to wander around and practice some stuff and learn the controls and things like that.
Yeah, essentially. Except now there's like 7 of those different areas,
That's
dude.
wild.
I don't know if I've talked about this before on the show because it's very rare that I load up or play Descenders. Or it was very rare that I load up and play Descenders. They have Bike Out.
Okay.
Replace the word bike with wipe.
Okay.
Cool.
So it's a wipeout course, except you have to do it on your bicycle.
Interesting. Like wipe out the
now
TV
it's-
show?
Wipe out the TV show with the big inflatable objects that knock you off the side and everything else.
That's kind of a cool
it's
idea.
And it's considered a free ride track, so you can manually mark your own checkpoints. So
Oh.
when you get past an obstacle, you can go checkpoint me right here. Thank you very much. This is where I'm going to start from going forwards. It's really fun, and part of those is part of the season challenges, where it's like complete the Pro Tour for liquidity or whatever. Part of the challenges is to do bike outs. There's 4 of them.
Okay.
I have done 1 of them. I made the mistake of starting Bike Out 1 at midnight.
Okay.
And I thought, I'll give it a couple of runs, see how it goes. You know, fine-tuning my trial skills, essentially. Because on this kind of level, on the bonus levels for the game, that's what it becomes. It essentially becomes a trials game. Didn't get that finished until 1:30 in the morning, because by the time I was halfway through it, I was like, no, I'm just going to do this now. I'm in till I hit the finish line on this level. Because it can't be that much longer. And then you go around a corner and there is so much more of the map to go. And it's like, oh, okay. So there's nothing like being tired, exhausted, and barely able to control the thing as it is. And you've got to make it through this intensely difficult trials course in a not ideally controlling video game, we'll say. But it's very much like Trials, where it's like the controls are there. You just have to literally be perfect at delivering on that kind of thing. But it was fun. I did it. That's the one that got me the achievement for completing all of the steps in one of the tours. I love Descenders. Descenders is great. Maybe everyone should go play Descenders. And again, every time I get into a level or a map or a load or a world, there is like, hey, you're online with 9 different people. 2 of them are playing on PC. 7 of them are playing on the Xbox. Let's go. And it's just like, okay, let's go.
And it's
and then when you
Game
load
Pass,
into the maps,
if people want to try it.
yes, it is. And when you get into the maps, it does that thing as well, where it populates with how many people are on each individual nodes. So when you see a node in the far distance and it says 9 people are on it, that's the special one for the one you're in. So that's the construction zone or whatever it is.
There you go.
I love Descenders. I have a problem with this game. I admit that I have a problem with this game, but I still really like it.
Everybody has that one roguelike that's a problem.
Oh yeah, and I'll be honest, I just turn the music off and listen to podcasts while I'm doing it. So it's become a very zen game for me. I know I have a problem with it though when I load up the very first level, start a new run, and fall on the second jump, and I'm like, I'm just starting this run again. No,
That's right.
I'm not
Mulligan.
start this run again. Let's go.
Yep.
7 times in a row is when that becomes a problem. So maybe go in and be warned.
Yeah.
But the only other thing I played was Control. I think I mentioned I beat the game previously.
I think so. Yeah.
Maybe, yeah. If you didn't, you were
yes.
close.
And you were doing
We
an
talked
end
about
game
the-
side quest stuff.
Yeah, we talked about the
Yeah.
director's pin that she has.
Yes.
in her hair.
I did the Foundation DLC, start to finish. Beat the
Okay.
Foundation
Nice.
DLC. Why would you pick a video for like the most weirdly interesting level of the entire game, Boston?
I don't know why this is. I'll skip back. Hey, sometimes it just loads up a certain part on YouTube.
It knows what we want.
That's right.
Yeah, that's true. The Foundation DLC is interesting because it's literally the foundation of the oldest house.
Oh.
So it doesn't shift. It doesn't change. Nothing around there moves around. It's just a giant cave system,
Okay.
which was the first thing that they explored when they discovered the oldest house because it didn't shift and change.
Mm.
So it's all of the collectibles are like logs and records from when the FBC arrived at the oldest house, when they discovered it, when they understood what was going on with it. Like, I think it's 2 or 3 directors ago is making notes, is doing like the collectible notes about what they're discovering.
Oh.
You get a whole bunch of new altered items that you need to cleanse. Potentially more importantly, this is where Marshall went. So for those of you who don't remember, Marshall is the head of security with the big machine gun.
Right.
Like disappears
the-
halfway through the game.
And everyone's like, "Where's Marshall? We need more Marshall. Marshall's great. Let's go." This is the DLC that addresses what Marshall was doing.
Interesting.
She's barely in the DLC, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Hopefully in game 2.
That's right.
Doubt that because when she communicates, she does it through the hotline, which usually only means one thing.
I was
Mm.
trying not to spoil things.
It's like 7 years old at this
Plus,
point.
there's
It's fine.
anomalies everywhere, man.
Mhm.
I mean, that is true.
I've been
It's-
trying. I finished a game this week that I was unhappy about, and we'll get there in a minute. But I've been trying to think of a game that I could like a longer game I could sort of sink my teeth into that isn't like one of the RPGs I'm sort of in the middle of. Maybe I could go back and play Control.
Dude, ever since Moon brought Control back up, I've been thinking, I don't think I platinumed
Control's
that
really
yet.
good, y'all.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think
Really
I
good.
platinumed it either. I mean, you're also over
So-
there, Nimp, playing MGS5 Phantom Pain, and I'm like, I could definitely go back and play that. But that's a
Exactly.
much
Not gonna lie.
larger problem.
I'm not gonna lie. I almost checked to see if that was installed this week. I was
Mhm.
like, "Oh, I can play. I could do this MGS in my life right now."
Yeah.
You know, just that
Mhm.
freeform weirdness
Yep,
all
mission
around.
by mission. You're taking
Mhm.
him?
Certain games that are just absolute classics.
Yep.
And like honestly, Remedy is a comfort studio for me. Like if I
Yeah.
feel like it's one of those things, especially if I've played the game before, where it's just like, yeah, I can just blow through this. Like this will be the second time I've got all the achievements in this game.
Hmm.
Because I got the full gamer score on the release version and this, and now I'm playing the Ultimate Edition for the new generation of stuff. So it's like, yeah, I can do this DLC and get it done.
Yeah.
I'm missing like one achievement from the Foundation DLC. I'm just gonna put this out here and say nothing else.
Okay.
If you play the Foundation DLC, if you play the Ultimate Edition, I hope you have as much weird esoteric fun as I did with the mission named Jesse Faden in Swift Platform. Swift
Okay.
Platform is in quotation marks in the
Okay.
mission name. Have fun with that. That's a bit cool and crazy, and it's super control-y, like in the way that you want Control to be weird and esoteric. It is 100% that kind of mission. Like, yeah, okay, I can definitely go with this kind of stuff.
I still love Control. It's so good.
And like the Foundation also delves into the former, who, for those of you who don't remember, the former is the big multi-legged black monster that you fight in mainline Control.
Right.
So it addresses the board and the former and the history of the FBC and why did this entire department fall into the ground.
I need to install Control again.
I'm just saying, dude, it's real good.
Is the thing is, like, I have the Ghost of Tsushima to play, and I'm like, but I don't really want to play a new game right now. I have a couple of new games on the pile already.
Well, it's the end of the year. You want your comfort stuff. You want the things that you know.
Especially as like production for these shows ramps up and there's more and more work to do there. I don't want to start more new stuff. I want to play Control.
Yeah. I mean, plus Ghost will be there for you later. Just hit it when you're comfortable with it.
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean, one of the things with that as well is, like, I don't know if this is for you, but it definitely is the case for me. One of the reasons I don't want to start something new right now, and I have new things. Stalker 2 is installed and waiting for me to play.
Dude, don't even... I bought the Stalker trilogy, the original trilogy, for the Xbox, because I'm like, I have to replay those because it's been
on
forever.
Sale right now, too.
Exactly, it's $25. It's like, I have to play those again because it's been forever since I've played them. And I haven't gotten to them yet.
Yeah, but part of that for me is, like, I have it there. I have it waiting for me. But I know in my head, and it's nothing from you guys, nothing from the audience, but in my head, it's December 1st. If I start that, I better have that beaten within 2 weeks to have it slot somewhere into those.
Yeah, because you want it on your
episodes.
list. Yeah.
Whereas with this, I can be like, okay, yeah, I didn't beat the DLC. I didn't finish the Dark Place DLC, which is next on my list. That's the AWE Alan Wake associated one.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't do that yet, and that's fine because Control is going to be in my list. You already know where it's going to be in my list.
Right.
Like, it's like, yeah, I don't need to start new stuff. I'm just going to... I've accepted that I've played where I've played for this year. They need to be organized into the relevant slots, and I'll go meet Alan Wake at the Lake House. Or no, that's Alan Wake 2. I'll go meet Alan Wake at Night Springs or whatever and see what's going on in that stuff, and then it doesn't really matter.
Right.
Like, it's not going to affect my top 10 because Control won't be on that list. It'll be in a different one.
Right.
But it's just the thing I can do where it's just like, yeah, I'm good. I'm going to experience this story, enjoy it, have fun, and not worry about needing it to be influential or on one of these lists, because I can play it at my own pace and enjoy it how I want to enjoy it. The Foundation DLC does start, by the way, in Artie's vacation place, just so you know.
Okay. Fun.
And apparently it turns out Artie was just wandered into the oldest house, according to one of the intels that you get. Like,
that tracks.
Whoever and whatever Artie is, he literally just
like some
wandered in.
Unspoken lore that he's just like some
He's potentially a god.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh yeah, that's right.
It's strange to say. It's strange.
It's very Control.
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah.
But I've had fun doing it. There's a little bit of bugs achievement wise, but nobody else cares about that except for me. And I will say they do. So I've heard from people who have been playing the Alan Wake 2 DLC that going to the DLC after the game is probably not ideal.
Okay.
But Remedy does this thing that they do with all of their games, from what I understand, with the DLC, where they will release the DLC and then it just inserts itself somewhere in the storyline.
Oh, right.
Okay.
So if you get when you get the Ultimate Edition, for example, if you start from scratch with the Ultimate Edition, you'll get maybe a third into the game, and when you have the powers appropriate, it will say, oh, hey, there's this weird thing going on in the Foundation. Like, maybe we might want to go and check that out before the rest of the game continues. And you can choose to do the main game or start the DLC at that point. And it just integrates it into the story at the natural points where it would integrate itself in the story if it was part of the base game, essentially.
That's nice.
So if you do happen to start Control, you could just play it and then do the DLC as you go. And have fun that way instead of doing what I do, where you beat the entire game and then go do the DLC. But yes, Control is great. I love Control. Jesse is fantastic.
Yeah.
And I find it funny that I am so much more interested in the younger versions of the characters. Not young as in timeline-wise, but Emily Pope is so much better for me than Darling is.
Yeah.
The head, the young guy who takes over like maintenance is so much more interesting than the previous head of maintenance.
Mm-hmm.
Like all of these people who are coming up at the same time Jessie is great. The relationship between the board and the director is spoken about in the Foundation DLC. Along with the origins of the service weapon. So
okay.
things to look out for, like when you're going in. It's really great. I love this game. Control is fantastic. Go play Control. That is all I've been playing. Mr. Nim, take me away.
All right. MGS5 this week. This is going to be super short. So I wouldn't even pull anything up for it. I completed 2 story missions. I planned for it. I executed the plan. Nothing weird happened. That's all that happened in MGS5 so far. Moving on to my next game. Call of Duty Black Ops 6. I'm super close to prestiging in multiplayer, and I kind of wanted to try to knock it out before we recorded just so I could say what all you get for prestiging, but I didn't get to. I'm at like level 54, and you have to be at like the end of 55. So I'm almost there. It's a double EXP weekend and all that fun crap since Wednesday. So I've been running through all that stuff. I've also maxed out my submachine gun that I really like, and because I have a problem and I got all the bars filled, I then had to move on to the next submachine gun. And that's just going to be what I do in multiplayer now.
Okay.
I did check out Zombies this week, and this is going to be the bigger story for Call of Duty right now, because I did not play the campaign this week. I didn't have a whole lot of time. In the pre-show, I was complaining about trying to find videos for like guides and stuff of like what should you do, because Zombie is a very intensive, hey, there are certain steps that you have to do, and the game doesn't necessarily tell you what you should be doing to progress.
And is a lot of that is a lot of that on purpose? Like you're supposed to play and figure out and kind of discover as you're going through?
Yeah.
Okay.
Is my understanding of what Zombies has turned into now.
Okay.
And there are 2 different versions of Zombies. There is a directed version where there's kind of a story playing, and it tells you, hey, you should do, like, you need to get this item, but it doesn't specifically call out where the item is on the map. You kind of have to find it or build it yourself.
Oh, okay.
So there's a lot of that, and I'm gonna guess that there is something in this world that tells you, hey, you should be looking for this, or hey, this is the thing you're looking for. But because everything is so chaotic for me, it's like I just need a video to show me, hey, idiot, you need this to go do this.
It's not like the Zombies take a break so you could like look at the environment.
No, exactly. So I watched 2 videos. I found 2 videos that I could watch, and then figured out. So the whole point, there's 2 maps. The one that I beat was Liberty Falls. The whole point of this map is you're supposed to be working your way to the church, and each area is locked, so you have to unlock it with currency that you're earning as you're playing.
Okay.
So once you've unlocked an area, that opens up a spot for you to go into, and so there's a lot of people tend to go from the motel where you start to the bowling alley, then to the street that leads up the stairs to the church, and then you have to open up the portal into the church, and that's when you get in, and that's when the story kind of starts. And you are helping this person who is stuck in between dimensions, and they're trying to get free, and they need your help to get free. To do this, there's a lot of crap to do. I still don't even fully understand how I figured out some of it, even watching the videos. I'm going to do just a very, very, very general breakdown. You need to... So you need to create a... I think it's called like the jet gun. But it's basically a giant vacuum. So you can either craft it with parts that you find around the world and use at the crafting table, or there's a partially built one in the hotel that you have to find 2 parts for that you can then finish crafting it, and then you have it.
Okay.
And the way to get them is like there's a random zombie that starts showing up, like a farmer zombie or something. Like he has to have specific clothes on, but he kind of blends in really well, and he only spawns in every once in a while. You kill him, and he drops a shack key. So then you pick up that key, you find whatever shack you can find on the map, it unlocks the door, there's a part that you need, kind of thing.
Okay, so I'm sort of picking up what the game is doing, of like, it's sort of expecting you and your friends to be playing it a bunch and then like passing info
Piecing
around,
it together,
like, on the playground of like, oh, I finally picked up the shack key. This dude did it. He looked the same.
Yep.
It unlocked over in the northwest part. Okay, I'm sort of getting it now.
So,
if Fez was an FPS.
Yeah.
Right.
And I don't have any issue with how this is done. It's just, like I said the last time before I started getting into zombies, like everyone at this point already knows what needs to be done, and I don't. So I'm the one that's just running
you don't
around
know where the
shooting
shack
things.
is? Come on.
You're the
Exactly.
dead weight.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I'm the one who's just holding everyone up because I'm like, oh, we're supposed to stand over here now? Sorry, I was over here for the last 20 minutes blowing things up kind of things. I thought that's what we were doing. Which actually helps out that I watch these videos, because at some point I was the one that was progressing the story because the other 3 people didn't know what to do.
Oh, okay.
So you know how bad that went. But anyway, so you build this jet gun, and then there's 3 other items that you kind of have to hoover up with this thing. And one is up above a drop ceiling in a comic book shop that you have to unlock. Another one is in a window of another building that you have to stand on top of a vehicle to be able to suction it out.
Oh, wow.
And the other one is up in a church. And there's no real... The one in the church is just out there floating. So it's like you can see it, and you're like, what is that?
Right.
But the other 2 you can't really see, unless you're like really looking and paying attention that these are the items you're supposed to be finding. You get these items, you're supposed to build a MacGuffin with it, so that way you can start summoning things from a different dimension at a specific point.
Okay.
And once you've summoned this thing, you can't just kill it outright. You kind of have to Ghostbuster the thing, where there's traps throughout the maps.
Okay.
And you have to activate the trap, which then starts like this purple glowy lightning stuff that slows down all the zombies and these abomination things that you're summoning in, and you have to kill that abomination within the purple glowy stuff, so that way you can suck out its soul, essence, whatever, into this item, and you're using that as like an energy cell for this thing that is in the church, and you have to do that 2 times.
Okay.
Yeah. Once you've done that, and there's a lot of steps that I'm probably forgetting or just overlooking because I've only successfully done this once. So once you've done that twice, everyone has to go into the church, and then there's a boss fight that happens, and it's just basically this wave boss fight in this tiny little church that gets more and more difficult. And then at the end, like, all of us just died.
Okay.
And I was super mad because I was like, oh my god, I know we're almost at the end of this. How did we just die? And I'm looking around. No, that's part of the story. You're all supposed to be downed. And then the guy shows up, and story happens, and you've beaten zombies.
Okay.
But you haven't beaten zombies, because there are tons of other things that you can do in there, and things that you can find and create. It's just this really weird thing that I don't know how, like, the flowchart for this has to be massive.
Yeah. The more you're talking about it, the more that I think I get why people like it so much, because it's this big enough area that's so complex. Like, there's enough complexity in there to not just be kill all the waves of zombies until they're too strong and you can't survive anymore. Like, there's all this stuff you're doing, and all this kind of like little hidden stuff in the environment. Like, no wonder why they call them Easter eggs. Like, it all sounds really interesting to a way that I don't think I've heard anybody explain it this way before, where I'm like, oh, I get it. Because I'm still thinking it's the old zombies where it's like it's
Where
just
you're boarding
waves
up a
and
house and
waves
you just
until
hold out.
you
Yeah.
can't survive.
Yeah.
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 With this though, with the two modes that you can pick, like I said, with this, I think they call it the directed mode or the regular mode. The directed mode, the waves only get up to wave 15, and then it stops the power from continuing. There's no continuation of the power of the zombies.
Okay.
They just stop at the power level of wave 15. If you go into the normal version of the game, there is no direction. They're just expecting you to know what you need to be doing,
Mm.
and the waves just continue.
Oh, okay.
Or I'm sorry, the power level. Because the way they do it, every wave, the zombies increase in power. So the waves continue in the directed version. It's just they don't continue to get more powerful past wave 15. The waves
Gotcha.
still continue to happen. In the non-directed mode, every wave, they still get more powerful.
It's a race against time at that point.
Yeah, and I've seen videos of people on like wave 130.
Jeez.
I'm like, good God, I don't even know how you're doing that crap. But anyway,
Yeah.
It's hard mode. Have you got to spare 3 hours to spare?
yeah.
Right.
So this game is also this version, or this zombies is kind of like a roguelike as well in some aspects, in that when you go down, you lose all of your stuff. You can be brought back,
Mm-hmm.
but you lose everything that you've upgraded to that point. And there's like these drinks that you can get. I actually just figured out, oh God, what do they call them? I don't remember, but basically there's like 6 or 8 different drinks throughout the world that you can get, and they do different things. There's one that allows you to have faster reloads. There's one that increases your health. There's one that will give you, that makes it so that reviving downed players goes faster.
Oh, okay.
But as you're playing, you can research like attributes for those. So like with the faster reloading one, you can eventually have it so that way not only do you get faster reloads, but you run around faster when you reload. With the revive, the one that hastens the revival, you have a free revive where you can bring yourself up, kind of thing.
Oh, okay.
But you have to research these, and it's a whole roadmap for each energy drink. So there's like, trying to think how, I think there's like 8 things that you can research and unlock for each energy drink.
Wow,
and then you can pick and choose a major ability and then a like a sub ability to equip on those energy drinks. So every time you grab one of those on the map, those are the things that you're getting. There's also weapon with the weapon upgrades, the ammo and stuff. You can get like flame ammo, lightning ammo, void ammo, and something that's basically like Destiny.
Right.
But you can upgrade those so that, like with the lightning ammo, it now stuns an enemy. And then another upgrade to that is an enemy that is stunned will then pass the stun status to any enemies within like 5 meters of it, kind of thing. You can only update, I think, you can only research these like perks and stuff one at a time. So if you're researching one for the energy drinks, you can't also research, one for the ammo or the one for your special abilities.
You can't do like one of each.
Yeah, which kind of sucks, but whatever. They upgrade pretty fast, so I've unlocked a couple of those as well. But it's been interesting. It is a major time suck, though. Especially since I'm playing with random people, and I don't necessarily want to talk to random people. So you're kind of just figuring it out and helping people along in your own way, or sometimes you're just doing things, which is what I ended up doing, because I thought somebody had grabbed like the jet gun to grab the 3 items that we needed. So we're running around the map, no one's grabbing these items. I'm like, what the heck, guys, come on. And then I go back to the motel, and I see the jet gun is fully built, and it's just sitting there on the table.
Someone just dumped it.
Yeah, and I'm like, okay, guess I'll grab it. So I grabbed it, and I started grabbing all the extra items and stuff, and then started pushing through all, the things that we needed to build. And that was the one that we did finally beat. So now I have like these extra little charms and stuff that I can put on my gun. So it's real interesting.
Yeah.
There is a second map. I don't remember what it's called. I haven't even tried that because I'm trying to figure out this map right now.
Right.
But yeah, it's been interesting. I'm actually kind of really surprised at how well this is coming along. And the best part too is all of your weapon levels and stuff still come over between multiplayer, zombies, and Warzone.
Oh, okay.
I did find out you don't necessarily, you can, when you're looking at your weapon loadout in zombies, you can lock certain guns in zombie mode. So when you purchase a weapon off the wall, you're getting your kitted out weapon that you've locked out now from that wall. So like if you have a favorite weapon with a certain setup, you can lock that in zombies mode, and then when you find the ability to buy that, or if you get it from the random crate or whatever, you'll get your weapon that you enjoy using. It's just the whole thing with the rarity of the weapons. You don't want to, any weapon that you bring in at the start is going to be a common weapon, and it costs a ton of money to increase the rarity of the weapon. So if you wait until you buy it off the wall, you can usually get them green or blue. And if you can buy them blue, it's usually a lot cheaper to buy it off the wall as a blue than it is to bring it in and then slowly try to upgrade it to blue.
Oh, gotcha.
So yeah, there's a bunch of weird strats and stuff to do for this. So
Interesting.
Yeah, it's been kind of fun.
Yeah.
So that's all I've been doing for Call of Duty. Like I said, I haven't played the campaign or anything. I was just trying to knock that out and check out what was happening with that. My last game, which is a really weird one, is Snowrunner.
Oh yeah, I've wanted to play this.
Oh no. No.
Have any of you guys ever gone trekking in real life?
No.
Okay, so I have. I've done a lot of off-roading. I used to drive MTVRs, dump trucks, stuff like that, all off-road. The truck before the one I had now, I didn't have kitted out, but I was working towards being able to make it more off-road. Up north in Michigan, there's a place called Silver Lake where you just get your ORT stickers and you can take your vehicle, any vehicle, out on the sand dunes there. And I took my old truck out there, had a blast. That's when I found out that also when you can't get your four-wheel drive to automatically disengage, if you just drive in reverse for 50 feet, it will manually disengage it for you. And that's how I got home that day.
There you go.
So I am used to the woes of doing trekking with winches and stuff and getting stuck and it being 3 a.m. and it's raining and you're trying to dig out mud so you can get a vehicle out of, home at some point that night. It's a lot easier playing it on as a video game.
Yeah.
There's still the same amount of swearing, though. I can just shut it off whenever I want to instead of having to deal with it. So, SnowRunner is just an off-road game. You are tasked. The first map that you open up, it's in Michigan. It takes place in a town called Black River. And the whole idea with this map is that, hey, there's been a flood. And so, all the roads and stuff are pretty much destroyed. It's all pretty much just 2 tracks and whatever. You need to help them rebuild their infrastructure. So you start out with just a 1500 Chevy truck. Nothing special about it except for that it's a 4x4. And you're in the mud, you're in the grass, you can get stuck. You have a winch, thankfully, which I didn't discover until I got into the bigger vehicles. But with the truck that you start with, they call it a scout vehicle, and you're just checking out the map with this. You're not really there's no real jobs that you can do with just a regular truck. You do get some where it's like, hey, we have check out this point on the map, and then you go there, and then you get hey, here's some driver experience and some money because you managed to climb up this rock, kind of thing. Okay. But the heavy lifting stuff where it's hey, we need you to bring concrete and metal beams to this area so we can rebuild the bridge. You're not doing that with this truck.
Right.
You're doing that with the next truck, which is it's a Fleet Star, which is an 8-wheeler, and that truck sucks starting out. It's a great if you started out with roads, this thing is a great heavy duty truck that you're messing with. But the moment that thing thinks about touching mud, you're stuck. And then you have to pull out the winch, attach it to a tree or a bush or whatever, and try to yank yourself out either forwards or backwards. The best thing about this game is that it does allow you to use different winch points on your vehicle. So it's not just, you have a winch installed in the front and that's all. No, it's There are 2 different points in the front, depending on the vehicle. There's like 2 points on the side, and there's 1 point in the back. So if you went all the way into the mud and got stuck, but there's a tree behind you, you can just move that winch point behind you, pick that tree, and then start slowly pulling yourself out where you're gunning in reverse.
Oh, nice.
But like this thing does not have mud tires. It starts out with a differential lock, which makes it so that the truck normally just has power to the very back set 4-wheel tires.
Mm-hmm.
When you lock that differential, the 8 tires in the back all now have power. I just unlocked all-wheel drive for this thing, so now the 2 tires in the front and the 8 in the back all have power, and that's made a world of difference. But I still only have highway tires for this stupid truck. So it still sucks in the dirt. But it's like the best thing that I have right now. The only thing that saves me is the stupid winch. So, which I have fun winch stories now. Because for the bridge mission that I was talking about, I was able to get the steel beams on a trailer. I was able to haul it over basically a mountain, get it to the location it needed to get at, and offload them. Cool. Where do I get concrete? There's like this little marker out in the distance, and it's like, hey, there's a trailer that's full of concrete over here. It's like, all right, let me drive over there and pick it up. I get to it, and this trailer is just in mud.
Oh, great.
Like, there is no way this is happening. So I'm like, okay, let me just hitch up to it and see if it will let me pull it out. And this is back when I only had the differential lock and I hadn't really messed with the winch yet, so I wasn't sure. I wasn't even 100% positive there were winch mechanics in this game yet. So I hitch it up, I go to pull it out, that trailer's not moving. It is stuck. Like, great. Who is the idiot who stored this here? So I'm sitting here looking at it, and I'm trying to figure out, maybe I can get behind it, maybe I can push it. That doesn't do anything. And this is when I discovered, oh, hey, this thing has a winch, and there's a tree over here. So I go to, activate the winch, lock it onto the tree. I start using the tree to pull myself out. I'm like, cool, this is working. I've got the thing, like, just flooded with gas between the winch and the engine. I was able to slowly pull this thing out of the mud, and then slowly get it onto the road. And then the road runs out, and I am back in the mud, heading in the direction I need to be in. And I'm like, it's stuck. I can't winch it out. I can't winch and gas it out. So it's like, what am I going to do? And I'm like, well, I wonder if it'll let me use a Fleet Star as an anchor point, where let me go up the road, turn around, come back close enough, because you have like a range of where the winch can attach to stuff. It's like, let me get the range so that I am just hitting the winch, but I'm like really far out, attach it, and let me see if it'll let me pull it. And it does, and it starts to work. So now I start combining winching it and going in full reverse as best I can until we get to a point where we're stuck again. And I just back up more, attach the winch, do the same thing over and over again. 2 hours later, I finally get the materials to the point where they needed to be at for this stupid thing. And then I forgot how to load things for the mission. Because like it has like this square on the road, and it's like, hey, bring the materials here. Okay, I have the materials, they're here, what do I need to do? Doesn't really say anything. Like, okay, maybe I'm supposed to unload it then? So I unpack the materials, unload it, and the game's just like, no, we don't have materials for you. Or from you for this mission. I'm like, what am I doing wrong? I found out you were supposed to hit the stupid X button, because I'm playing on Xbox, and it's supposed to pull up a mission menu, and then you just hit the unload button there, and it unloads the cargo for you. So when you unload something, it disappears. Because you're basically disposing of it. So I had to go out and find more concrete to drag to this stupid site for this thing. That was about another hour and a half of me doing dumb stuff. So that's what this game is. It's just getting crap from point A to point B, and it's got enough physics and dumb extra things for me to kind of enjoy my redneck heritage over.
Oh, the thing that
I've
always interested me about this is it seemed like truck Death Stranding.
I
Like
was
that,
literally just about to
Yes,
say it's
Yeah,
Death
exactly.
Stranding in a car.
like
Mhm.
very deliberate kind of like you're gonna take this road slowly, you're gonna prep it, you're gonna plan out your mission, you're gonna go on the route. There's probably gonna be something that's gonna go wrong along the way somewhere, and you're gonna have to kind of figure your way how to get around it, get through it. But like it's this is a game where you're driving at 5 miles an hour, not
Yes,
500.
it's a game of inches a lot
Yeah,
of
exactly.
times. It does have a recovery mode that you can use, or a recovery option that you can use at any point in time.
Hmm.
That doesn't cost you anything. So when you're playing in not hard mode, fuel and repairs are free.
Okay, that's nice.
Recovery mode, you can use at any time. It just grabs your vehicle and brings it back to the garage.
Oh, okay.
You cannot have cargo in your vehicle though, and you cannot be attached to a trailer though. So if you're out in the
Okay.
middle of nowhere and you get super stuck with all that crap, you have to leave the trailer there. And if you had cargo, you have to dispose of it. You
Oh,
know,
okay.
if the cargo is in the trailer, you can just unhitch from the trailer and then you can recover yourself, and then you can try to figure out, because that trailer stays there.
Hmm.
Then you can try to figure out how to pull the trailer out from a different way, either forwards or
That
backwards.
seems like a
But
fair compromise.
yeah, but if you had cargo in the bed of your vehicle and you got super stuck, you have to get rid of that crap, and then you can
Mm.
recover yourself, and then you can try again.
Okay.
Leaving trailers is something I've had to do a couple times, where it's like, okay, I am super stuck in this riverbed,
Hmm.
and there is nothing for me to winch to. So, recover my vehicle. I come the other way, all the way across the other side of the map, try to inch close enough to it to get it within the fields of the winch. It's like, okay, grab it. Let me see if I can pull it forward. Yes, this is working, and we're stuck again. Recover, drive all the way around the map again, inch close to the trailer again, pull it with the winch, and we're stuck again. And then
Right.
recover and drive all the way around the map. It's like I could have gone a different route and I could have gotten the materials from somewhere else, but at this point I'm like, the objective is right there. Like, I'm
Right.
just too stubborn to let this go.
Right.
I also have, for my truck, I now have mud tires for it, and I've got big ol', I think they're 42-inch tires on there now.
Dang.
And this game acts like, with the physics, like I'm driving on the moon. Like, I hit a rock with one of these tires, and the back end of that truck is just popping like 15 feet in the air. And I have flipped my truck so many times
Jeez.
because of that. So I've had to take it like super slow, because I haven't done much of like rock off-roading. It's mostly just been mud, dirt, that kind of stuff.
Mhm.
Rock off-roading to me is like a whole different category of just
Yeah.
craziness and stuff. And those are the videos I watch, where it's like someone snaps their axle in half, or a tire just pops off, kind
Right.
of thing. Like, I don't have the money for that. I don't. Yeah.
Yeah.
So doing off-roading on rocks on this is really weird, especially when you have this, because you can't lower the PSI, at least I haven't found so far, of your tires. They're fully inflated all the time, which isn't
Okay.
something you would normally do for off-roading. You would normally deflate them a little bit and inflate them when you need them. So like on the rocks, anytime I hit a rock, it's like I just bounce super
Boing.
hard on them. Yeah. So I have to take that into account now. And rocks are super annoying in certain roads, especially on the Black River map, the first one that you're doing, because you're going uphill, and there's like the specific one that I'm thinking about. There's a boulder that's about 4 to 5 feet across and about 2 to 3 feet tall. That
Jeez.
going down the hill is fine. Coming back up the hill, especially with a trailer, I had that GD boulder stuck on that trailer so many times, and it moves. Like, you can try to move it a little bit.
Oh, okay.
But like every time I would move it, it would keep going in a direction I didn't want it to, and it would just further wedge everything. So then I had to like yank the trailer out, run over the rock a couple times, or try to shove it over to the side so I can finish climbing up. And I'm like, can I just pick up the rock and move it? Because that's what I would normally do. I would roll that all the way down the hill so that it stopped being an obstacle.
Yeah.
And I look it up online, and there's a guy saying, hey, you know, on this Fleetwood, I added a crane to the back of it because you can modify all the vehicles certain ways. And I'm like, all right, cool. So you can pick up debris and you can move it. And then I continue to read it. So I spent an hour or two removing rocks and stuff, come back, and the game respawned all of the rocks.
Oh, that's frustrating.
And I'm like, oh, come on. This sucks. So this one path that I'd been taking this entire time is just forever a pain in the butt because of this one rock. So that kind of sucks. Another thing that kind of sucks is that you can't have multiple winches so far. So you can only use one winch at a time. And you cannot create an anchor. So like if there's no trees or bushes or shrubs or anything to attach a winch to, you can't create an anchor point for your winch. You're just stuck.
Okay.
Now, I don't know if that changes in the future. There's a ton of DLC for this game.
Yeah, yes.
This game also has mod support. Mod support does not disable achievements, by the way.
Hello.
So there are a couple, if you want to go the route, there are a couple things where like, hey, download this mod to sell this truck to get yourself a nice little nest egg.
$50 billion.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
But there are, looking at the mod list, these people are going crazy with like their truck builds. Like they've got the fantasy trucks that I want to own. There's absolutely no way in this lifetime I could ever afford.
Right.
But it's kind of like the whole Gran Turismo Forza thing where it's like, here's the dream car that you want to own.
Yeah.
And you can sit here and tweak it to be, this is the redneck dirt version of that, right?
Right.
So, I am just having a ton of fun with this game. This is pretty much what I've spent my time playing so far. I've technically made it to Alaska. But as soon as you get to Alaska, it does tell you, hey, if you find Alaska difficult, go back to Michigan to find upgrades and, you know, kind of grind out your vehicles and stuff. And I'm like, well, I'm just going to go back to Michigan then because Michigan was already hard enough. I can't imagine what the issue with Alaska is going to be.
Yeah.
Snow. Lots of snow.
That's right.
Which I don't know how that's going to play out any different between all the mud and stuff in the Michigan map, because there are 4 Michigan maps. And these maps, just crazy. Each map is 2 kilometers by 2 kilometers.
Oh wow! Okay.
So it's like a pretty decent one. And there's 4 maps for Michigan. It looked like there were 4 maps for Alaska.
Jeez.
And then there's like all these DLC maps, and the DLC maps are 4 kilometers by 4 kilometers.
Jeez. Okay.
So you're basically getting a giant map per DLC that you purchase.
Wow.
And I look because to get the year 4 season pass, which also gives you year 3, year 2, and year 1, it was like $70.
Okay.
But I'm looking at like all the maps and the extra crap that you get with it. I'm like, damn, that might actually be worth it.
That's
But I'm like, but
that's
let
a
me
lot
just
of game there.
Yeah, I'm like, let me just play the base game right now,
Right.
so I can see how this goes. But yeah, there have been times where I've been super aggravated with this game. A lot of it being just because I am stubborn, where it's like, I know I can get this trailer over this GD mountain.
Right.
I'm going to do it. Like, I'm not going to reset. This is going to happen. And eventually it does, but it takes a lot of swearing and a lot of effort.
But it seems like that's also like kind of the point, right? Like,
yeah,
it seems to be the like, there are no easy roads in this game. Like you're doing this job for a reason.
It's part of the fun of it is that
Right.
I probably could have found an easier route.
Sure.
But this is the route that I picked, and this is the route we are taking.
Right. And what's the fun of playing
Death Stranding way.
Yeah, and like what's the fun of playing Snowrunner or Mudrunner with the easy route? Like that's not the point.
And the best thing is there are a lot of visual cues, especially if you've been off-roading in real life, where it's like you can look at the ground and be like, that is some thick, dark mud. There is
Right.
no way this is making it through that.
Right.
So yes, I will need to find a different route. There are other times where you drive into an area and all of a sudden you're just like in quicksand. It's like, well, I did not see that coming.
Made a
so
mistake
hopefully
here.
I
All
can
right.
get out of this. Yeah. So it is a lot of fun. am just wasting so much time with this game right now, and it's great because the engine sounds are great. The being stuck in mud sounds great.
Yeah.
I just listen to podcasts while playing this game and
it's
try
a
to
perfect
plot a
podcast
route.
Game.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And there isn't, while you're driving, there is not a map that is on your HUD. There is a giant map that you can pull up and you can see everything, and you can put down points.
Yeah,
for
we're
you to
watching here
navigate
in
to.
the gameplay on stream here of people like plotting out very similar to Death
Yeah.
Stranding of like I want to go from here to here and like drawing your path and not necessarily I want to go from here to here so the GPS plans like no it's drawing a straight line from point to point so you're drawing your path exactly where you want to go.
So the point that you put down, you will see those in the world.
I thought that's real cool from this footage.
You will not see the lines connecting the points, though. So if you put another point down, there isn't a line leading you to that other point. However, the funny thing is that I didn't notice because I didn't know when I was first trying to play this. I thought, okay, let me put down this marker at this location that I'm going to, and I'll have a GPS route. No. It puts that route as the crow flies. So it's just straight, hey, your vehicle's here, your point's here, here's your line. That doesn't show up in the real world. It just shows up that way on the map. And it's like, there's no truck that's making it across this mountain river, and then gorge. And so then, so you have to plan your route. So now I use it more towards, okay, I am driving in this general direction, and I have a turn that's going to be coming up further down. So I make a point just before the intersection, and then I make a point at where I'm turning to. That way I see the first point. I'm like, okay, I'm making a turn here. Once you connect with that first point, that one disappears, and then the second point shows up. I'm like, okay, I'm taking a right on this one. And it helps out a lot in the forest because a lot of times, like the trails that you're following, sometimes they just disappear because it's kind of more of a deer trail than an actual, 2-track, really.
Right.
And sometimes there's so many trees and stuff all over the place. It's like you can't even see the trail. You're just kind of bumping along trying to get through it. So it's been a lot of fun. I've enjoyed this. There is a day-night system. I do not drive in the dark. It is hard enough to play this as it is. I am not doing, especially with the lights, because you can put tons of floodlights and stuff on your vehicles. But starting out, you just have like your Chevy truck lights, which are garbage. This is like a 1980, maybe a 1990 truck.
The real yellow tinted front lights.
You don't have your blue halo, 40,000 lumen light on the front of this thing, So all you have to do is just pull up your map, and on Xbox you just hit Y. I'm assuming on PlayStation it would be triangle, and it just skips. By like, okay, so you were at evening, now it's nighttime. It's midnight. Hit it again. Okay, now it's 0600.
That's nice.
So you don't have to like sleep or anything weird like that. You just constantly hit it and then just get it to whatever time frame you want it to be at, and then you're good to go.
That's cool.
So, yeah, that's a quick recap of Snowrunner and like the 15 hours I've put into this game or whatever so far, because there's just so much customization. I now have like a roof rack that has like a spare tire. And I've got like 2 jerry cans on there that give me like 40 extra gallons of fuel. Like the Scout truck only has 80 gallons. And and even though you don't have to pay for fuel, there's only like 2 gas stations in the first map. So if you're out in the middle of nowhere and you're stuck because you ran out of fuel, you can recover. Or I can use those 2 jerry cans to refuel my truck back up to the E-Told 40. So I can get it back up to 80. And then I'm good to go again. And then you can refill the cans at the gas station while you're also refilling your truck.
Oh, nice.
So, and then the last thing is just the heavy trucks. There are cranes you can put on there. You can turn your heavy truck into a fuel tanker. You can add, like, at some point you have to be able to move logs because there's like a log attachment where it's just like the spikes sticking out of the side for them to just drop logs into. So there's like all kinds of weird missions and stuff to do for this. And it's hitting that stupid thing in me that likes weird, difficult games. It's been referred to as a Souls game in the couple of videos that I've watched about this. So.
Yeah, sure.
So yeah, that's SnowRunner. It is on Game Pass. It is also on Core. So check it out if you want something dumb and interesting to yell at, I guess.
Yeah. Man.
That's all I've been playing.
All right, I just have two quick games here. First one is I finished Lego Horizon Adventures. Um, I wish I could say that it got better as I went along, but that would be a lie. It got worse somehow.
That
Um,
sucks.
this is I this is probably one of the most disappointing games I've played this year easily, and this is for me, the dude who really loves the Horizon games probably more than I should. Um, this game, 6 hours would be generous, honestly, to say, and it's just disappointingly shallow the whole time. It is run from point A to point B on these paths. That anytime there's a like a branching path, it's just a couple of footsteps to a chest, and you open it up, and then you find your way back. Um, None of the gadgets by the end of the game ever, I thought, really got super interesting. Um, there were some rarer ones near the end, like a decoy that I thought was kind of interesting, and a drone you can get, but the drone doesn't work the way that you expect it to. It really just it doesn't hang around. It pops up above your head and it flies into the first person it sees and blows up. And then that's one of your uses. So it's not like something that hangs out and shoots at enemies. It's like a one and done sort of thing. Um, my complaint about the beginning of this game having like repetitive areas got way worse the further the game got. The final area especially is really bad, because it's just literally the same zone, and then you go through and you get to arena at the end that you're fighting largely the same enemies, then doing the same thing to kind of the boss thing that you actually don't fight. You then go up to it, you interact with it, the same cutscene plays, and then the same outcome happens. You do that for, I think it was 4 of the 6 levels in the final area.
Okay.
And then at the end, final boss battle is way too long, like way longer than it should be, in a way that it probably felt the most Horizon out of any of the battles you fought so far. Um, but not in a good way, because it was a lot of like, well, you can't damage the boss, so what are you gonna do? It's like, well, there are some glowing weak points. You shoot enough of the weak points, and then you can damage the boss, which is like, okay, sure. Um, I think the thing that made me the most surprised is, one, I really like the design of the bad guy, which is, it's on stream right now, which is this large red orb with a mouth and like this kind of funny deep voice.
It almost looks like a bomb from Final Fantasy.
Yeah, very much so, yeah. I also really like how far the game goes to not talk about the story of the first Horizon game. Um, it I can't even say it's a Cliff's Notes, because it doesn't address the main story stuff of that first one, which is weird because it's a lot of like, I'm gonna go fight the bad guy and talk to my mom. Horizon, I'm collecting metal flowers. And it's like, I mean, yeah, but that's like 5% of that game. You're kind of not talking about the thing that I still don't want to spoil. Like, it's a very strange choice. And it has like kind of a sweet ending. And Silence, of course, puts on a big like DJ dance party at the end because he's a DJ throughout this game, which, sure. It's just, the thing is, it's, the worst part about it is it's thin and it's boring, which is really the thing that you don't think about any of the Traveler's Tales Lego games. Which those games are like, all right, I'm going to play these levels.
Is hasn't been associated with those games ever. Period.
Right, like not even the
9,000 hours
PS2
in.
ones. Like you're playing
Yeah.
through those levels 3 or 4 times at a minimum, with different character combos, and you're exploring the open world and you're doing all this stuff. And the open world for this game is really just like an excuse to spend gold bricks to build buildings on like these plots, and then the buildings really just only have like one specific small building you build on it to then use that to complete a like a bulletin board quest, and then you build that, you complete those, and it gets you a gold brick to build more buildings, to do more quests, etc., etc. The most surprising thing about this game, though, is I finished the game, and without trying, I got, it was like 18 of the 24 trophies. That's not including the platinum. And a lot of the rest of them are like, we'll get all 50 gold bricks, which is easy because you'll just play all of the levels. I did unlock the Apex machine hunts, which are harder difficulty boss fights, but even with a pretty upgraded character, the difficulty swings too far the other way. It's the same problem that the mainline Horizon games have, where it's like, all right, this is pretty easy. Oh, I unlocked the arena. Let's go try this, and it just stomps your face in the dirt. It's like, well, that's there needs to be some sort of ramp here, because otherwise you're at a 1 or you're at a 10. So like those fights are interesting, but you're fighting a boss while there's not never-ending waves of just kind of regular enemies. You take them out, and the boss just calls more. And the boss is doing enough damage to you that 1 or maybe 2 hits is going to kill you. So you have to play perfectly for around 10 to 15 minutes straight. And you're kind of spinning a lot of plates in a way that isn't really that fun. Those don't seem like you need to have them done for the platinum. But one of the biggest trophies for the platinum is you need to get all of the playable characters up to level 20. I finished the game with Aloy at level 17, and to get to 20, for her, I'd have to grind. And then I have to do that for 3 other characters. One of which is like 11, one is 10, and one's 8. So I'm going to have to do a lot of grinding in a game that doesn't have an open world. So I'm just going to have to like replay a bunch of missions. And I'm like, I'm not even going to go for any of that stuff at this point. So I just uninstalled it, which is a real bummer. Because I think even without comparing this to the Traveler's Tales games, I think this game turned out to be something that is too short and too thin, and from a gameplay perspective never really clicked, and the like hub stuff isn't really interesting. The story isn't really interesting because it never really touches on it's kind of like this mishmash of both of the games, and isn't really ever super compelling. And it just like none of it ever came together. And like it looks incredible. The voice acting is great. Like it's fun to hear Ashley Birch take a fun approach to playing Aloy. But that's kind of it. And I don't really feel like enough of it there is fun to finish building Mother's Heart, or collect all the costumes, or build all the things, or do all the whatevers, because there's just really, unfortunately, no point to it. So
Yeah.
I'm super bummed about this. I don't think I would recommend anybody pick it up, because I think even if you're going to play it, if you're a kid that's playing it, I don't think there's enough there to keep you super interested for the price. And if you're going to play it co-op, I think you'll just blow through this game even faster. So I think if you're interested in any of this stuff, just go pick up the first game. Like pick up the first game and play it on. I will forever recommend for both those games. Play it on the easiest difficulty and just use your base bow, because like even the second game has a real problem with like, congratulations, here's 400 weapons, good luck. And it's like, oh god, I don't want to do it. The first one has some of those problems too, but like, you should go play those two games instead. Most of the time while I'm playing this, I'm thinking, man, I never started that DLC for Forbidden West. I should go play that because I know that's like 3 or 4 hours, and I liked that game a whole lot. I should just go play that. And I feel like that's probably not the thing you want to think of while you're playing a totally different game. So
Yeah.
yeah. So real bummer. I don't go out and buy this. I cannot think of, unless you're the person that's going to play and platinum literally every Lego game that's out there, I don't think you should go play this, which
I mean,
sucks.
Yeah,
But like, go play the Skywalker Saga. That game's incredible.
so the good news for me is I have played and platinumed every single Lego game out there.
There you go. I think.
But I ain't going cross-platform for this.
No.
It all needs to be on one platform.
Yeah, and if this game was really great, I'd be happy. Like the two Horizon, the mainline Horizon games, I'd be super happy to say like, yeah, if you pick up the PC version, you know, whenever you get a hand on like a used PS5 later on down the line, pick these guys up, but not this game. It's just a bummer the whole way through. So only other game I'm playing is Minecraft. my kid has been off on vacation.
Sorry,
She's
what did you say in pre-recording? The kids long for the mines? Now I
yes.
know why.
They do. They yearn for the Minecrafts. My kid has been off this week for Thanksgiving break, and was like, "Hey, I'm watching a lot of videos about Minecraft. Can we play Minecraft?" And I was like, sure. Well, I've got library sharing between our PS5s, so you can hop on my wife's PS5. I'll hop on mine. We'll play Minecraft together. Did not realize. So, okay, I've never played a single minute of Minecraft ever in my entire life.
Oh, okay.
So this was a hell of a learning experience of how do I control a Minecraft?
Yep. Punch trees, get wood.
Well, we're playing creative mode because she just wants to build stuff, which is fine.
Okay. Open menu, get wood.
Right. But a lot of it is like, how do I open a menu? How do I equip things? Also, I really keep mixing my L2s and my R2s in this game because I keep wanting to treat it like a shooter where like you hold down L2 and then it's L2 R2, but it's the opposite of that. So a lot of like, I have found myself building very complex roller coasters out of mine carts and mine tracks. That's been sort of the thing that I've been having fun with this past week. So a lot of it is like, all right, I'm going to build this. Nope, I just dug through a whole bunch of stuff and messed this track up. Okay, let's actually hit L2 to place it that time. Good job, me.
Out of curiosity, are you going into the redstone yet with this
No.
nightmare?
I have decided.
So, hey, Boston.
That way lies madness.
I'm just saying. If you want to let me know, drop an invite.
Mm-hmm.
I can give you some big old ramps to hit that ramp 50. Powered by redstone. Ready to go.
I have it. So it's very funny because my kid watches a lot of like Minecraft videos online. So she's watching like a lot of AFMAO videos, especially. She really likes those. And it has been kind of funny to sort of, she was like, okay, we need to build this thing. And I'm like, okay. So is this like a modded thing she's doing? Because she makes like funny videos. Is this like a fake thing that she does because she makes funny videos? Or is this like an actual thing that's in Minecraft? So I'm spending a lot of time on like WikiHow of like, okay,
trying to
how
figure
do I
out the through
build this
line.
thing? Is this, number one, is this a real thing, or is this like a modded thing? Or number two, how do I do this thing? So that's been a lot of fun, but it's been a lot of me building overly complicated roller coasters while my kid is building like the world's largest house around the roller coaster. So
And
that's
I'm just saying, when you guys get bored, it's always fun to flood a village.
so like that's the thing I've sort of been like hiding from her.
Tell that to England, dude.
But like the game, the monetization of this game is really interesting because I spent $20 to get just the PS5 version of Minecraft, which I thought that was a fine price, especially since we're doing library sharing.
Yeah.
$40 is like, that's not going to happen. But the game is very interesting when you first fire it up. It'd be like, welcome to Minecraft. Buy the Moana DLC. I'm like, shush, 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 shush.
Yeah, it shoves that stuff in your face so hard.
You could subscribe to Realms. Shut up. Shush, shush, shush. I want survival or I want creative, and I want to be able to like manage what sort of creative world I'm gonna do. And it's like, yeah, that sounds great. Anyways, all these modded $7 a month. I'm like, shut your mouth. Shush, shush, shush.
Yep.
Shush. So
Also, too, if you have, because like I have the physical PS4 copy as well, that has a free upgrade to the PS5 version as well. So
yeah,
for people out there who are thinking about it,
a lot of it has been so far just like, you know, with kids, it's like how much do you want your initial investment to be when the total playtime could potentially just be 2 hours?
10 minutes.
Yeah. Or like before it's like, that's boring. And like there was initially some of that because like most of these games, you can do anything, but also you can kind of do anything. Do nothing. So
yeah, it's the problem I have is that there's no guidance, so it's like I just get bored.
So like a lot of her frustration early on was like, okay, but how do I do this? And my answer was like, you're asking the wrong dude. I don't know. Like I've literally never. So a lot of it has been her and I playing this and figuring out at the same time of like, oh, okay, if you put this stuff together in the build menu, you can build this thing, because she doesn't always want to pull stuff. You know, you have that giant list of like, here's every single item in the game. She doesn't always want to do that. So a lot of it has been like, okay, let's look the recipe up online. Okay, here's how you build this thing. You can do that and then do this. So that's been a lot of that has been interesting, I think. But as someone who isn't creative, that has also been frustrating for me of like, you know, when your kid asks you like, what should I do? And I'm like, what can you do? Like, what do you want to do? And that's too open-ended of a question.
My kids went so far down the deep end that we bought the Minecraft Ultimate Guidebooks for them so that they could like build stuff. And so they're all out of date now because I have no clue what the current version is. And this was years ago. Yeah. So I'm guessing it's like either the flowcharts changed or they just don't even exist anymore. There's different things that you can make and do. But yeah, my kids went so far into the deep end with Minecraft, and I would get to the point where it's like, well, let me put this 20 by 20 cube of dynamite that I just created and shoot it with a fire arrow and see what happens to the mountain, you know?
Yeah, if my kid is still playing this in a couple of weeks, she'll probably get a similar guidebook for, let's say, the holidays of just like, here, please. This is everything you can do. I don't know.
Yeah, let's say because those guidebooks are super, because they are written for mostly kids.
Yeah.
So it's like there are a lot of picture diagrams and stuff for kids. Like even if they aren't great at reading, it's like they can look and see. Okay, I need this colored square thing with this colored square thing, and that makes this thing.
We have a really good one of those for Pokemon. She was in her Pokemon phase. It's like, here's 975 Pokemon in this giant book. Here's a reference guide. And it's like, here, please. I can't be on Bulbapedia all day, please. Here, just take this. So
let me download the Pokedex app, and you just look at it.
Yeah, so she'll probably get something pretty similar. But Minecraft has been kind of fun. I am not a kid, so I don't want to play it nearly as much as she does, which is understandable. But it's been kind of interesting to be able to. Also, one of the few games I played lately with LAN support. It's funny to like
Yep.
start a realm and just be like, "Here's the other people on your LAN." I was like, "For what? For real? Okay, yeah, cool." The kids yearn
So-
for a LAN.
The whole reason for that is because Minecraft is really old, dude.
I know. I just like looking up some of the information. They're like, "Okay, are you running Bedrock or are you running Java?" And I was like, "Oh my god, yes,
Dude, so-
that's right. Yes, Java."
Java doesn't exist anymore.
I mean,
But
it does, but like
because
it's
I
not
have
your
that
stuff.
Yeah, I have that for computer where the Disney World and Disneyland maps that have like the full rides and everything, you can earn points and stuff and walk the parks.
Hmm.
Those are on Java still.
Right,
They have not been brought over to Bedrock.
right.
Or maybe they have at this point. I haven't checked in forever. But yeah, it's troubleshooting Minecraft is crazy.
Yeah, like if you want an intro
Uh-huh.
to a career in IT, like troubleshoot The Sims mods or Minecraft. Like
Uh-huh.
that's the real deep stuff. So, yeah, it's been interesting. This isn't. We've talked about this so many times on the show. Unless you're driving a car, I'm not really a crafting survival sort of guy. But this is definitely one of those games where you play it for an hour and you're like, yeah, I get it. Like I can understand. Even in creative, you're like, yeah, I get what is, I get what the kids are talking about with the Minecraft, the hottest new title. So, but
Then you see those videos where it's like I made a fully functional redstone computer and now I can play Doom in Minecraft.
Doom runs on Minecraft.
Yeah.
yeah, it's just like, you sure did.
Here's a DOS box no one's seen in 80 years.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I said, my kid was off on vacation this week, so those are the only two things I played other than Halls of Torment for We Roguelike. Go check it out, weroguelike.com. That's all the games I'm playing this week. Let's take a break.
Yep.
I'm going to be recording 2 hours.
Louise.
Okay, I'm going to cut our news story this week. We might talk about it next week if
Okay.
he announces where
Announces where
he's
he's
going.
going.
Yeah, Devolver
Comes out in a
Digital.
green t-shirt. No, it comes out in a green t-shirt and goes to Xbox, dude. You know that?
That's right.
No, Louise.
Yes, my tail is up your nose. Is that a problem? Bye, Louise.
Don't walk across the keyboard.
Oh, I'm gonna, and then I'm gonna bite your
I was
mouth.
gonna say. Yeah,
No.
exactly.
No, it's not a cat toy.
All right, are you guys ready to keep going? What is that? A stress ball? Squish, squish, squish.
Yes. And it's like sitting right here. She's like, tap, 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 tap. Can I hit that on the floor and then pop it with one of my claws?
That's right. A toy for me. Okay, you guys ready?
Yup.
All right, let's get started in 3, 2, 1. Let's talk releases for the week of December 2nd, 2024. Animal Crossing Pocket Camp Complete comes out on iOS and Android. It's $20 long term and $10 discounted price for launch. So, Animal Crossing Pocket Camp launched, I think it was a couple years ago on mobile, and it is reaching end of life. And I feel like I kind of always heard complaints of that game of like there's a bunch of season passes and there's so much stuff you're collecting, there's et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
Is
yeah.
this a straight change? Like, is this an Overwatch 1 to Overwatch 2 thing, or is this a whole new product?
So it's the same game, but it's a one-time purchase, and then you can naturally unlock everything in the game without having to pay for this pass and paying for that thing and pay the monthly whatevers and that stuff. It also seems like if you played the Pocket Camp in its original release, because that's now going end of life, you can transfer all of your stuff into Complete. So it's not like a hard cutover. It's like a, hey, you unlocked and you earned all this stuff before. Let's kind of scoot all that stuff over here into Complete. And if you're playing Pocket Camp to begin with now, all of that kind of microtransaction stuff seems like it's gone. So
Okay.
that's cool, because I heard this game was okay, but it always had that kind of specter hanging above it of like microtransactions. So
Mm-hmm.
seems kind of cool. I don't know if I think I tried this originally when it came out. And it's like, yeah, I don't think I really want an Animal Crossing on my phone. That's not really the place I want to do this stuff. So it's cool. It's nice to see they're at least not just like cutting this game off and just being like, yeah, whatever, we got your money, suckers. I mean, they also are doing that, but then they're also going to get you $20. So maybe that's not better.
It's Nintendo associated, so yes.
Yeah. So that's Animal Crossing Pocket Camp complete. Next up, Lorelei and the Laser Eyes comes out on PS4 and PS5. That's the puzzle game, black and white and occasionally pink puzzle game. It came out earlier this year for PC and Switch that I played and eventually dropped because I don't want to play stuff on my Switch. Video games, come on. It ran super well over there at the very least. But I dug this, and if you're looking for a really interesting kind of mind-bending puzzle game, this will definitely do it. So that's coming out on PS4 and PS5 this week. Next up, Warhammer 40k Darktide gets a PS5 version, which did either of you guys play Darktide?
I have it installed because it's currently on Game Pass, but I have not had the time to launch it yet.
Yeah. I think I can't remember if we played a little bit of Darktide, me and Bill and the Hannah, or if we played Vermintide 2. I mean, they're kind of like...
You played Darktide.
Okay. So, I liked Darktide. I mean, it's very much those games. Like, it's the same kind of formula. I think I was a little bit frustrated playing it by the amount of kind of fiddling you had to do in the hub area. There was a lot of like, upgrade this thing to buy this, and you can't do this because you're not level 5. Like, that's the stuff that's going to keep you and your buddies around for a while, but I still just kind of wish there was like a mode of just like, can I just hop in there and do some quick, like I have 45 minutes with my friends to just kind of hack and slash some zombies or whatever. Like, let's get in and let's do that instead. So, but this seemed super cool, and we had a blast playing it. So, happy to see it's coming out on PS5 here as well. So check that out. The Thaumaturge.
Yeah, Thaumaturge.
Thaumaturge comes out on PS5 and series consoles. This came out, I think it was March of this year on PC. This is a isometric 2D story focused RPG that people seem to really like when this came out earlier. So I kind of don't get the impression of what the actual battle system is. Even though I've watched a bunch of videos, it's always like 2 or 3 seconds here of like, yeah, cards and turn-based and whatever. It's like, oh, okay. I don't think it's a grid-based deal, which most of these games are, which I think is interesting. But the big thing that they're talking about here is like, it's a story-driven RPG with morally ambiguous choices. And that,
Shock of shocks.
yeah, like that's kind of the thing that they're focusing on. But like you said, Moon, like that's kind of the minimum I would expect out of an RPG like this. So,
I mean, can I kill the children? Because that's pretty morally ambiguous.
Yeah, like, can I get like a vampire thing? Sort of like, I made best friends with them and then drain them dry. Yay, XP.
The game is so good.
That's right. Go play vampire. So I think I try to come in here for every week for releases to try and find like, what's this thing about this game? Like, what's the special thing or the kind of cool thing about this game that means I should recommend it or at least talk about it on the show. And I don't understand from a lot of the videos I watched on this one, which is kind of a bummer. So go check that out. People seem to really like it, and I kind of don't understand what the the draw of it is yet, but maybe someday. I'll check it out.
Yeah.
The RPG I'm really looking forward to, Fantasian Neo Dimension. This was the previously Apple Arcade exclusive Hironobu Sakaguchi developed turn-based JRPG. I am so excited to play this. If you don't remember this from a couple years ago, the big thing about this one is they built, it was 50-something dioramas.
Yeah.
And that's where your party does battles on. Like your characters are exploring on top of these real world dioramas, and everybody that played this on Apple Arcade when it came out was like, boy, I really hope this comes out to consoles and PC at some point, because this is a game that RPG fans really need to play, because it's really great, and it's kind of trapped on the worst platform you could put a turn-based JRPG on. So I don't know if I mentioned PS4, PS5, Series console, Switch, and PC. I don't think it has an Xbox One release, which isn't too surprising. But it's Sakaguchi, it's Uematsu for the soundtrack. It's kind of like your heavy hitters of the JRPG world are coming together to make that one. So that seems really cool. I'm pretty excited to play it. Probably at some point next year, because I have enough on my plate as it is anyway to not. I gotta get through Metaphor. Like, I can't be starting another JRPG. Come on, please. In this economy, sheesh. Next game here is Infinity Nikki, comes out on PS5, iOS, Android, and PC. You want to put your bets on the biggest game of 2025? Without any sarcasm, it's going to be Infinity Nikki. If you haven't heard these games, they are kind of the biggest thing on mobile in pretty much the entire world. This is as far as I know, the first time this is coming to PC and consoles. It is largely kind of like a cozy dress-up exploration collecting thing. Oh, and also the guy that designed Breath of the Wild designed this. Just as a side note, no big deal. Just a tiny little thing. Well,
the good news is it looks like you catch the strange monsters with a net, so the Nintendo company can't sue.
That's right. Yeah, there are definitely no capturing orbs here. No collecting them in spheres, let's say. But yeah, I have been surprised at the amount of excitement that has been surrounding this game overall. I think one of the biggest things is people are really looking forward to something that is kind of fashion focused, and kind of light platforming, kind of light gameplay. Also, it's free, which is really great. And I think that's a thing that...
Oh, it's free to play?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I'm sure it's riddled with microtransactions at some point. But, like, I think the thing that I keep saying, like, oh, yeah, of course this is going to be $40. It's like, no, it's free. Just go nuts, get dressing up. So I will definitely be giving this a shot, because it is adorable. And I definitely am curious to check this out with how many people are really, really, really excited to play this. So Infinity Nikki coming out on a whole bunch of stuff. Also, again, not coming on Xbox platforms for seemingly no good reason, other than this is not a game developed in the West. So I guess that makes sense now that I say it out loud. But yeah, check it out. Infinity Nikki. Last game here, but certainly not least, Marvel Rivals comes out PS5, Series consoles, and PC. I can probably talk about now that I was in the closed beta for this back when it wasn't called Marvel Rivals yet. I promise you, I am not being reductive when I am talking about this. This is just Overwatch. It is literally just, hey, we took a photocopy of Overwatch's blueprint, and we made one of those with just some incredibly sick character art. The art in this game is really great. But if you have played Overwatch, or if you've ever seen any of Overwatch, it's that you know how to play this game already. It just has Marvel heroes and villains in it. So, I'm really curious to see how this game is going to do after Concord didn't take off and Deadlock is kind of still in beta, probably for like the next 10 years or something. But with this being free to play as well, and Overwatch 2 still kind of not really doing it for people, I wonder if there is a place for Marvel Rivals to kind of capture that market. I'm not like, do people really still want to play Overwatch, but Overwatch 2 isn't doing it? Or are they kind of like, well, I played Overwatch for like 5 years, I'm good? I'm not
Do
sure.
people want hero shooters anymore?
Right, yeah.
How
like,
many can the market like cope with?
Right.
Like one, it feels like.
Yeah, because you
Guess
already
we're
have
about to find out.
Yeah, because you already have Overwatch 2, and like Deadlock is a 3D MOBA. Like it's really not, even though it looks like a hero shooter, it really isn't. But like they are putting a lot of money behind Marvel Rivals. I think it's NetEase that's making this.
It is.
Yeah,
it
so-
is. The logo came up on the
Okay.
video that you showed.
So like if anybody has money to just dump into a game until it's successful, come hell or high water, it's gonna be NetEase. So like, is this game going to be a success no matter what? I'm really not even sure. So I am academically interested. I'll keep an eye on this for sure. I'm not going to be playing this though, because that's not a genre. They like hero shooter genre isn't what I'd like. I would probably rather play Apex Legends instead, because the game is cool. But this wouldn't be something I'd be picking up. Plus, I have Destiny 2. What else do I need? Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You already got your shooter.
Yeah, I've already have my live service Nightmare. Should I introduce another one? Probably not. For my own sanity. For protections. For protection reasons. Excuse me. All right, that's all of our releases for this week. Means that's the end of our episode. Thank you very much, everyone, for listening. If you'd like to visit us, you can do so at tvgp.tv. Everywhere to find and follow us is on the right-hand side of the page. Don't forget to join our Discord, discord.tvgp.tv. The coolest community on the internet, the kindest, the nicest, the best, I might say, is all over there. If you want to find us on all of our social media, campsite.bio/E1M1, you can get all the
Ones and numbers.
Yes, thank you. You can get all the cool links over there. Speaking of ones and the numbers, patreon.com/E1M1.
Those ones are also numbers, weirdly enough.
$5 a month, fun for $5. That's the recommended tier that gets you everything that we talked about at the beginning of the show. Another plug here again for an open house. Takes place the entire month. So I've got all 3 of those episodes, kind of the best hits of 2024. That will be here from December 1st until January 1st. You'll be able to go in, even if you're not a patron, if you haven't set up, it should be available for the public. So you should be able to go over there and check them out. Remember, they are uncensored, all 3 of those. That's why they're not on the public feed here. Otherwise, I'd be promoting those over here as well. But please go check them out if you're curious. If you do like it, $5 tier as a recommended one. That's per month, not per episode. If you can't support us financially, totally understand. Like, comment, subscribe. YouTube channel. Everything that goes on the public feed, we have a video version of as well. Oh yes, rate and review us on whatever podcatcher you use. That does genuinely help. I think that's it. We'll see you all next week. Bye.
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 Had like the smallest thing in my throat. Like right before I had to start doing the like big outro. me. Okay. Nimp, what are your titles?
I have dropping the finest memes. I have to roll up the queen. I did not know the queen
Said by a British
runs
guy.
away. Yeah. The Na 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 song replace the work bike. Oh, I'm sorry, hang on. Replace the word bike with wipe. The kids yearn for the mines, or the kids yearn for a land.
All right, Moon, what do you have?
Musical stinger of the year, Rainbow Dragon Breath, Jesse Faden in Swift Platform with quotation marks, Comfort Studio, If Fez was an FPS, Truck Death Stranding, Open Menu Get Wood, and Big Ol' Ramps.
I forgot about Truck Death Stranding. I gotta write that one down. I'm really trying to not play Death Stranding. That's the real reason I want to
Me
play
too.
Control, because I want to
Mhm.
play Death Stranding, and I can't do that because I need
I
to
have
get
her on
that
the
platinum.
Xbox now, dude. I have her on the Xbox.
Oh, that's dangerous. I have the finest memes. Have you gotten into the Redstone? I have to roll up the queen. The kids yearn for a LAN, Comfort Studio, and Truck Death Stranding. I like Truck Death Stranding and the kids yearn for a LAN. Those are my
I
kind
think
of standout
Truck
ones.
Death Stranding is very on point for this show.
Mhm.
Yeah, we can do the truck one. I mean, the
I'll
kids
circle
yearn
it.
for a land is also very much the show.
That's
but
that's also true. Yeah.
Yeah, but we're not the kids, so therefore they don't yet.
no,
That's
but
right.
we're the
That's
ones
problem.
explaining to them what a land is.
That's right. Oh, we had brought our computers over to our friend's house, and there was like 4 of us. Oh yeah, it was crazy.
Yeah. We got 4 or 5
Literally used to
APUs over
carry
here.
my Xbox, my OG Xbox, to my friend's house to play
That's right.
Halo.
Let's put you to bed, Grandpa. Cool story. You kids don't even know.
Let's talk about daisy chaining.
That's right. All right.
I am ready.
Truck Death Stranding.
Yeah, I think I'm ready.
All right. Starting in 3, 2, 1. This is That Video Game Podcast, episode 890 for December 2nd, 2024. Truck Death Stranding.
Ford bridges the road.
You still have to alternate between L2 and R2 to get through the mud.
Moon, I hate you so much. My name is Ford Porter Bridges.
Uh-huh.
Swear to God.
Connecting America one link at a time.
That's right.
Built Ford tough.
Oh, no. All right. Thank you very much, everyone, for listening and watching. We do greatly appreciate it. We'll see you next week. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.